Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman Issue 1 returns to the Dark Multiverse as Tempest Fugonaut looks over another Doom world, wondering why there is darkness. On this Earth, Superman fights Doomsday through the streets of Metropolis, killing the Beast but also killing himself in the process. Lois cradles her dead husband in her arms, crying but knowing that she will never forgive the world for losing him. The Justice League arrive and Lois yells at them that they failed him and let Clark die alone. Later, Superman's funeral procession heads through the rainy streets of Metropolis as Lois watches on from behind the crowd, finding disdain in all of the heroes getting the spotlight during this, while she, the woman Clark loved, can barely see his coffin. Next, a giant statue is revealed by Lex Luthor as he gives an empty speech. Lois knows that Clark would be absolutely disgusted at the way they are objectifying him with the statue Lex had erected. Weeks go by and for a while things were different, but then the world fell back into chaos and Lois knows it was like Superman never was there. She heads to Smallville to visit Martha Kent, where again she knows this is a story that she can never write about, and Ma and Pa Kent couldn't even go to their son's funeral. Martha also reveals that Jonathan is in a coma and thanks to his heart, he might not even come out of it. Martha breaks down crying, knowing that both her boys are gone. Lois journeys to the Fortress of Solitude, leaving Clark's tattered cape at the foot of the statues of Jor-El and Lara, knowing the Earth wasted the gift that they had sent them. Suddenly there is an explosion as the energy being known as Eradicator arrives in the fortress, saying that it is too late. The Eradicator reveals to Lois that he was the defender of the last son of the House of El and took Kal's body from his tomb, putting him in the life matrix to try and re-energize his cells, but he was too late and he has failed Kal-El. Eradicator is racked with pain thanks to the Matrix burning within him, and he knows he cannot hold the power for long and must instill it into a Kryptonian. Lois tells him to give it to her, but the being says that human physiology cannot accept it, but Lois doesn't care since she was the one Kal loved and she loved Kal-El, and she won't carry on his battle, she is going to end it. Lois is imbued with the power of the Eradicator, which explodes the Fortress of Solitude, giving her great power as she dons the destroyed cape, promising Clark that she will make a better world, one that deserved him. Using her powers, Lois begins her mission, beginning by imprisoning bankers, ripping up prison camps, and feeding the hungry. She then takes the world's weapons, and all while doing this, she wonders why Clark never did this. Soon she finds a village full of dead people, seeing with X-ray vision that Lex Luthor is somehow behind this. Lois goes to confront Lex in Metropolis, telling him that she knows what he has done. Lex comes clean, revealing that he fueled some regional conflicts in order to drive up weapons sales for LexCorp, as well as other insidious dealings like murdering his assistants just because he could now that Superman isn't there. Lois smashes into the room, grabbing him and taking him into the sky, and telling Lex that Superman was Clark Kent. Lois speeds into the atmosphere, letting Lex burn to ash in her hand, hoping it makes her feel something, but it doesn't. Lois burns LexCorp before going after other villains, killing Ra's al Ghul, Deathstroke and Black Adam among others before finding the Joker in Gotham, killing him instantly with her heat vision as Batman confronts her, demanding to know what she has done. Lois says that she did what Batman never could as he tries to say that there are lines they don't cross, but Lois is sick of hearing that and knows that this is all just a game to people like Bruce. Lois says that she won't let Clark die in vain, but Batman says that she has already let him. Lois hits Batman away, stopping him from getting his kryptonite out, but he still electrocutes her. Lois says that Clark always pitied Bruce, since he knew the man was nothing and was so alone and just wanted him to stop. But Batman says he doesn't stop. He rushes Lois, who merely kills him with her heat vision, taking off from Gotham and into the sky. While flying, Lois sees the truth and that humankind cannot be saved, and she's glad Clark isn't there to see what she is going to do next. She begins to make the world into something that Clark always wanted, but soon 3 imposters showed up, Superboy, Steel and Cyborg Superman, who Lois confronts, knowing he isn't the real Superman like he claims. Cyborg Superman doesn't bother pretending anymore as Lois tells him to remove his House of L symbol. Cyborg Superman says that both of them have blood on their hands. He's just more honest about it as he uses his tech to bind Lois, saying that he's going to burn down the whole world, starting with Metropolis. Superboy and Steel arrive to help Lois, but Cyborg Superman instantly kills Superboy before crushing Steel in his own armor. Lois frees herself and blasts him with her heat vision. As they fight through the city, Lois suddenly hears a familiar voice telling the people not to be scared. That voice belongs to the real Superman, who has returned and is helping people in the rubble. The weakened Superman helps people out of a ruined building as Lois confronts him, learning that the life matrix took a little longer than expected. Superman sees that the people are afraid of Lois, asking why as the cyborg Superman returns with a kryptonite cannon. Before anything can happen, Lois speeds towards the villain, smashing the weapon, which dumps its kryptonite deposits all over Superman. Lois races back to Clark, who looks at her with terror in his eyes as once again he dies in her arms, only this time Lois was the one who killed him. Tempest continues to watch, saying Lois's truth turned to vengeance, and vengeance knows no truth, only darkness. He knows as the Eradicator, Lois Lane is beyond saving as he continues to investigate the dark multiverse and why there is dark in these worlds. Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman issue 1 was an utterly fantastic dark multiverse spin on another classic storyline. This easily could have just been a simple story of Lois going crazy with power and the heroes having to fight her and everything, and that's what's different about this universe. But Jeff Loveness crafts a compelling and quite sad story of a woman broken by grief and what that causes her to do. Seriously, I did not expect all the stuff with getting a look at Lois's frame of mind throughout this, and it was utterly fascinating to watch it all unfold and her become more and more engrossed in saving Superman's legacy, but in the cost of her own morality and killing people and all that sort of stuff. On top of that, we did get loads of action and hyper-violence as Lois quote-unquote cleans up the world, which of course leads to her becoming the thing she hated, yet she can't see it, like with most people who are drunk on power can't. This was a fantastic issue, and I'm very excited for the Blackest Night issue next. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.